Good morning, viewers and listeners. That sounded official, didn't it? Well, it's been a few weeks since I did an art video, and much less one that I narrated, I think. I don't really have an excuse. I never do. I just make whatever videos come to me at the time. Anyway, I recently added a new tier to my Patreon. It's a $50 reward tier, and basically the reward is I will draw you. If you pledge $50 to me, I'll draw you. And so far, that's been going quite well. I got this commission through that offer. This is a drawing of Joelle. It's FluffyKawaiiJo herself. She runs the brand FluffyKawaiiJo and the channel FluffyKawaiiJo on YouTube. We met fairly recently and honestly became good friends quite quickly. So it was an absolute honour to paint her, and I'm really glad she's supporting me because it just means a lot to have somebody else that's in the same community as me, but someone who's doing it a little better support me. So like I said, it's the $50 reward tier, which I know sounds like a lot of money, but I do spend a lot of time on these drawings and paintings. All my art videos on YouTube are sped up by 10 times the normal speed. So if the video is like 10 minutes long or 20 minutes long, it's because I've sped it up by 10 times. I actually spend several hours over several days drawing these. And the offer on Patreon is for a line drawing, and I would maybe put in a colour or some such. But Joelle, being the star that she is, wanted to pay extra to have it in full colour. A fully rendered watercolour portrait. And I'm so glad she did, because if I can brag a little bit here, this is one of my favourite paintings that I've ever done. Everything about it went really easily. She gave me a really good reference picture to work from, and as usual I asked what kind of flowers she would want me to draw on it, because if you've seen any of my other art videos or any of my other artwork, you know I tend to draw flowers on everything, just all over the place, and I drive myself a little crazy with it, but I still do it. So yeah, she told me her favourite flower was roses, and she gave me a reference photo for the outfit she wanted drawn, and it was just a really easy process, so I can't thank her enough for that. I'm also going to start making slower videos on Patreon. So I already mentioned that everything on YouTube is sped up by 10 times. I'm going to make slower videos and make them Patreon rewards for, I think, the $10 reward tier and up. So it'll maybe only be sped up by twice the normal speed. Some of them might be in completely real time, but I'm going to focus in on one detail at a time. So things like maybe just the line art, or just painting hair, or just drawing eyes, things like that. And I'll do it really slowly and explain what I'm doing. So all of those lessons will be up on Patreon in the coming year. That's what I'm going to start working on. I've got a couple of them in the works, almost ready to go. So if you want to see them first, go to Patreon. Sorry, I don't mean this whole video to sound like I'm just pimping out my Patreon, but I kind of am, I suppose. Yeah. There's no really any better way of dicing that, is there? That's exactly what I'm doing. Well, anyway, now you've heard it, you know that I'm doing other stuff on Patreon. And if you want me to draw you, head on over there. Pledge your $50. You don't have to keep paying it every month. I honestly don't mind if you let one payment go through and then just cancel it immediately. I'll still draw you. I'm not trying to scam anyone for however much. But hey, if you'd rather let it pay me for a couple of months in a row, I certainly wouldn't say no. That would be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? If I was like, no, don't give me money. I don't think I know anyone that would do that. Anyway, enough awkward talk about money and Patreon. Let's talk about actually painting this, because I decided to use my Vivia watercolour sheets because they are just so nice. The other watercolours I have are the vintage watercolours and a student pack. The student pack I have had literally since I was 13 years old. My grandparents bought them for me because when I was a kid all I wanted to do in the world was be an artist, so they bought me what I thought at the time was fancy watercolours. And I still have them, and I keep them for nostalgia reasons and because they make me happy. But if I'm going to be doing portraits for money for people that I kind of want to impress, I need professional watercolours, and these Vivia watercolour sheets are really, really nice. I got them in a scroller box, so there should be a video of me unboxing them and using them for the first time. I think it was last summer we got these in scroller box. But yeah, they are genuinely really good, so I chose to use them for this portrait. I have since ordered more, even better watercolours, and when they arrive I will make a video unboxing them and testing them and showing you them. I'm very excited about it. I haven't had very expensive fancy paint before, really, so I will be excited about that video, so you should get excited about it too, okay? So, what am I doing? I'm painting all the green in first. There was no real logic to that. I know a lot of people really have a strict set of what layers they put in first. With watercolour, it really is best to do your lightest colours first to your darkest, so I guess like it depends on what you're painting really, what's the lightest colour and what's the darkest. But for watercolours, usually you start with the lightest colours and move to the darkest ones. So really I should have started with the yellow roses, I suppose, but I didn't. Again, for no reason. Sometimes when I'm narrating these videos I realise that I should put more thought into my process. I know what I'm doing at the time, and it worked out fine, but yeah, really I should have started with the yellow roses. But whatever, it's done now and it worked fine. I started with the green. Here we go. What did I do next? Oh, I was painting the skin next. I did the green, then all the skin, then the roses. So I should really have told you about the flowers later. Well, we're here now. I am definitely going to do a slowed down video on Patreon just about painting skin, because I see so many videos about that, and I see and hear a lot of artists just giving really, really complicated advice about painting skin, and it really doesn't need to be that difficult. So I'm gonna maybe do a real-time painting video and just explain exactly what colours I used and why. But, you know, the short version is you paint it all in with the base colour, and then while it's still wet, you put pink in it for the blush areas, and then darker brown in it for the shadow areas, and it'll all blend together because the paint's wet. It's just wet and wet. It's a technique, but that's it. You know, it's a lot simpler than a lot of artists seem to think, so I'm going to do a video on that, definitely. Okay, we're almost at the end of this video, so I will just leave you with some music for the last few minutes. Bye!